It's Thursday night, and it's time to unwrap Las Vegas right here on VANR. That's VegasAllNetRadio.com, which means it's time for Vegas Unwrapped. The phone lines are open at 702-483-4444. Now, without further ado, here are your hosts, Aaron Phillips and Ricky Cash.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to Vegas Unwrapped Internet Radio. Coming to you live, VegasAllNetRadio.com. On your iPad, iPhone, laptop, desktop, spin-a-top. It doesn't matter to me. However you're listening to us will work. Today is the final episode of Vegas Unwrapped. Did you know that? It's the final summer episode of Vegas. I had you all scared, didn't I?
I don't even think my mic's on.
Yes, it is. I hear you.
Oh, my goodness.
Maybe your volume's not up.
No, it is. It's good. It's
okay.
Good.
Today is, springtime. Fall officially hits this weekend. So tonight is the final summer episode of Vegas Unwrapped 2014, Mr. Cash.
That is.
What do you got to say about them apples?
It's incredible that we've made it to the end of the summer.
In one piece.
I'm not sure after the dinner we just ate.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, we'll see if we can make it through the show.
Let's make it to the first hour.
Exactly.
You want the first run at the bathroom?
Well, I took stock that the toilet paper in the bathroom was a little light, so hopefully, I just got thumbs up, so we're good.
See, we know that Bobcat has some skills, but every now and then he just surprises us with
He's got us covered, so to speak.
Good job.
Anyway, so yeah, we want to thank you for listening in. September 18th, another episode of Vegas Unwrapped. Now, tonight's first guest, we have a topic that, at least for local listeners, is very important.
Yeah.
Coming up in the November ballot is something called the Margin Initiative, the Margin Tax. They're calling it Education Initiative. But the bottom line is we have a guest coming in who is going to be speaking on the specifics, actually calling in. We'll be talking about the specifics of what this tax actually means to business owners and how allegedly the state is using education to hide what the real purpose of this tax is all about in terms of it going to the general fund instead of education.
You already lost me.
Okay, well, that's good. That's why I have her coming in.
Good job.
So coming in also is someone we've had on the show in the past, Mr. Artie White. He's the owner of Aqua Plumbing here in Las Vegas.
Do we have a leak?
We'll have a leak if the Chinese food kicks in. But he's coming in to talk about this tax situation more from the business owner side and what, if this tax passes, what it could potentially mean for businesses. And it could be very devastating to many businesses here in Las Vegas. So,
well, we're a business.
Yeah, but the numbers that they're talking about where it would...
We have 2 employees.
Well, 3 technically.
Yeah, I know.
But if you don't make any money,
right? If you don't make any money, 0 times 0.
Do we need to hear that right away?
Yeah, exactly.
Got to remind us about this.
Exactly. There you go. So, but anyway, it's going to be something that will be important to listen to because there's a lot of confusion. So that's what's coming up in the start of the first hour after our first break. Then later on in the first hour,
the views you are about to hear do not represent.
That's right. We make sure we play the station disclaimer before that one.
Disclaimer.
Coming up before the end of the first hour, Dion Lee. He's the head coach of the Las Vegas Showgirls semi-pro football team.
He's bringing in some of the girls?
No, he's going to be on the phone.
Get the heck out of here.
I'm sorry. It was a last-minute thing. He's going to be calling in because he's starting something. He's trying to raise funds for basically a new women's football league.
That we like.
So, exactly.
Let's have the applause.
So he will be calling in later on to talk about that, and then in the second hour, we have Doing It with Styles with JPEG. He's got another award winner. Weird news, celebrity birthdays, dates in history. You, the caller, 702-483-4444 is our studio line. Give us a call. Let us know what you think. And of course, I know you're excited to talk about this because we couldn't stop you for the last hour before the show. The fan club is starting to reach some milestones. So
yes,
take it away.
Unbelievable. Well, you want me to just mention that we're really kicking it. And what's interesting is right now, believe it or not, right, we're only 3 behind. The international members are only 3 behind the national members, and only 7 behind the local members.
Wow!
So we're really surprised that it's heading in this international
flavor.
Yeah, but it's really nice. And you know what? We're doing a lot of posting about it on Facebook, and we're trying to answer as many of the questions out there as we can. And you know what the biggest question is? Are you going to use the money just for local charities, or are you going to use the money for charities or other needs outside of Las Vegas? And I point out about last week with Brandy out in Baton Rouge, and you know, her program that she's involved with are for people that are that have been placed at the Air Force base near her. Right, and not here at Nellis, you know. So, and right away we sent out that check. Thank you, Aaron, on that one, and that came directly from the fund that's accumulating in our PayPal account.
Absolutely,
in the Ricky Cash fan club, and if that's what we have to do in order to make this thing explode. Thank you very much. Last night we were at Sienna.
Yep.
And we were the MCs, not just doing interviews. Last night we MC'd the show for Jazz and Cocktails with Sandy Castell and Mike Leonetti, and we even talked about the fan club in our opening.
That's right.
So it's taken on a very, very important role for us in terms of the mission statement of Vegas Unwrapped.
Absolutely.
I mean, President Ted, you don't know what you started, buddy. You just don't know what you started.
Absolutely. And no, it's a good thing. And I have to be honest with you. I mean, I gave you a hard time about it. I gave President Ted a hard time about it.
Well, you thought originally it was kind of like a joke.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you got to be kidding me. But I mean, this thing is gaining some
serious momentum.
Some momentum here. And the great thing is, look, with over 1,560 fans on our Facebook page.
Right.
Okay. If each of them simply got involved in the fan club, even at the lowest level, which is $10 a year.
Right.
Forget all the tchotchkes and stuff that they get for the membership on all the different levels.
Yeah, but if they all had buttons, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, it would be. But if they all just did that, and everybody can multiply this out, imagine what we can do with that kind of money in the communities that Vegas Unwrapped is hurting.
Yeah, and you know, the fact that,
and that's what it's about.
The fact that it's, you know, at some point in time when we're able to reach out to communities outside of Las Vegas, our friends and acquaintances out there from Facebook that have joined, tell us what your needs are.
Right.
You know, send us a post. Let us know about
emails
at an event that you're doing that you need to raise funds for. And Vegas Unwrapped will step up and be in the forefront of whatever it is that you're doing.
You know, one of the things that we talked about with Vegas Unwrapped when we started this. Oh my goodness! I just found somebody on Facebook who liked the post. Lives in Vegas now, but he's originally from Monticello, New York.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, you know, when you talk about what we can do with this.
That wasn't Michelle, was it?
No.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It's a gentleman by the name of Mitchell Moss.
How about that?
Like one of our posts, and I just befriended him, hoping that he'll reply so we get into a conversation about upstate New York.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Oh, the fan club.
We have a radio show going on.
I know. I get so easily distracted. It's like, where's the shiny object? But yeah, I mean, the things that we could do. And one of the things that we wanted to do when we started this venture 5.5 years ago is I had visions of grandeur that there's no reason that this concept of what we do,
unwrapping something
couldn't be quote unquote franchised
and branded in other cities.
In any other city.
We talked about
right.
It.
So you could have a
Dallas Unwrapped.
You could have a Dallas Unwrapped, Baton Rouge Unwrapped, Montana Unwrapped, whatever it is, and take that same concept and do what we do, and therefore raise money through your fan base and turn it back around to give back into the community.
Because every community that's out there, and I don't care if it's a big city or it's a small town or it's a rural farming area or whatever the case may be,
right?
There are people out there that need help.
No question.
And I'll tell you what, if nothing else, we've gotten a great deal of pleasure. We've gotten a great deal of pleasure in seeing the faces of those people that we've helped. I mean,
question.
I got to tell you, it's been amazing.
Yeah, it's been fun. So get out there, go to VegasUnwrapped.net, go to the tab called the Ricky Cash Fan Club, and check out the membership options, $10, $20, $30, and it's only for once a year to garner this money so that we can turn around and put it back into the communities with which you stress that there are needs for. And it's a simple way to give back. Plus, you get everything from T-shirts to buttons to show tickets, all depending upon the level of membership with which you decide to get involved with. And the more money we can raise, the more we can give back to the communities.
I got an email today from one of our latest members I think from Lois's area in Charlotte.
Okay.
Our second Charlotte person. And said that, they're coming to Vegas, what shows are out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent them an email back on the different shows that we have. And sure enough, got an email saying, can you reserve 2 of the show tickets for Mark Savard?
No problem.
So,
we'll put the tickets aside for him. Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to being able to do that kind of stuff.
Oh, absolutely. All right. Our phone number is 702-483-4444.
And we will give out show tickets tonight.
We will?
To the sixth caller?
You ready to put it out there? Sixth caller. You got to wait. 702-483-4444. 702-483-4444. Sixth caller will get a choice of 2 tickets to either Mark Savard, The Mentalist, or the Beatles at Planet Hollywood.
Right.
So
that should be a lot of fun.
Good show tickets, good stuff available, and I know JPEG has seen just about all those shows.
The Mentalist is awesome.
Yeah, Jerry
McCambridge.
I was saying McBride, but I knew that wasn't at McCambridge. Definitely does a great show, and we were actually witness to some of his abilities a number of weeks back on the Sandy Castell show, which we are on every Wednesday morning at 9:30 during her show.
Cheap plug.
Yes, of course. That's how we do it.
Hey, you know where else we're on?
Where else are we on?
We're also on KLAV. Tuesday night. 6 p.m.
No way.
To 8 p.m.
How did we do that?
Raw Power Sports.
Somebody was silly enough to give us more airtime.
Yeah, it's been. You know what's really been fun about Raw Power Sports?
Yep.
The board operator. Come on, Lawrence, who's been with Rich Perez forever,
right?
And he kind of knows Rich, so he's got a history with him. If there weren't 10 different sound effects during the show, the wild applause and the bongs and the boings.
And he actually taped something I said that he keeps playing all the time. I like Cougars.
Oh, right. I heard that. Right.
I don't even remember how that one came up.
And the one I really liked is he recorded me saying, "So how's that working for you?"
Yes, that's great to hear that all the time.
So it's been fun.
All right. Before we go to break, it is time to turn it over to our partner behind the board, Mr. Bobcat. How are you, sir?
I'm doing just fine tonight, sir. I'm waiting for this new mega, as Mike Leonardi and the Grossos, the trillionaires. Well, we have new trillionaires of machinery coming into this studio at Lotus Broadcasting.
Does that mean we'll be able to track listeners and everything?
You can do all that with this thing. And if you ask me how to do it, I am going to tell you I don't know. What I am learning is to make sure everybody gets their show elements put in, that everything is going to run smoothly. I can tell you, working with the system earlier today, the sound quality is much better.
Good.
It's digital, and everything is rolling. Are you ready, sir?
We are ready. Go for it. The Vegas Unwrapped Sports Desk.
Good evening, Bobcat. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Good evening. Welcome to Vegas Unwrapped. You're sure the Bobcat for Vegas Unwrapped Productions right here. Let's go ahead. NFL, gentlemen, are you ready for this? Oh, my God. Halftime, Atlanta 35, Tampa Bay Goose Egg. What the heck is going on with the Gruden but Lovie Smith and the Buccaneers here, man? I can't figure it out. Also, want to let you know it's 1 down, 9 to go. Brad Keselowski, your winner last week at Chicagoland, and it's off to Loudon, New Hampshire. Gentlemen, if 4 drivers don't pick it up, it could be the axe before the end. On the bubble, Ryan Newman, A.J. Allmendinger, Greg Biffle, and Eric Almirola. Things better switch at Loudon or it's stick a fork. I'm done with the chase. Round number 2 coming up on for you Sunday. And in the next hour, we'll catch everybody up on the Major League Baseball scores. Just looking over right now, I know that Mr. Phillips is going to be happy with a 3-2 victory tonight. Mr. Cash, I'm looking across the board for you, sir.
I told him not to play on Thursday nights.
And I think you got your wish. fish over that, so they're off tonight. Yeah.
They can't win on Thursday.
Well, there you go. Bobcat from the Vegas Unwrapped Sports Desk.
Very good. All right. With that, we're going to step aside for our first break. Coming up on the phone is going to be our special guest talking about the margin tax, Ms. Karen Griffin, and in studio, from the businessman's perspective, Artie White, a returning friend who we've heard on our show a number of weeks ago, will be in the hot seat to talk about the margin tax from the business perspective. You're listening to Vegas Unwrapped with Phillips and Cash, Bobcat on the board, JPEG behind the camera, and you, the listener, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, welcome. We want to thank Sandy Castell and Mike Leonetti for their shout-out.
Well, let's thank Sandy.
Thanks, Sandy. We'll take Mike off the Christmas card list. No, we appreciate them, and we take it in good strides. And we know that there's no what's the word I'm looking for?
It's nothing.
It's
all good.
It's all good.
It's all good.
All right, before we get to our guests, I promised Mrs. Bobcat that I would do this. Race to save a life, rev up your engine, shift into gear. A racing competition will soon be here. It's a fundraising race day. Stop bullying and prevent teen suicide. Save a life and join us. Saturday, November 8th at the Gene Woods Racing Experience, 121 East Sunset Road from 5 to 9 p.m. $25 for 2 races. There'll be raffle prizes, guests, racing fun, spread awareness from On Pit Road Racing. Proceeds go to Can't Make Believe Kids, anti-bullying, and suicide prevention research. So we want to, maybe we'll get out there November 8th ourselves.
It's a priority for us. We might be doing a national pageant that weekend in Long Beach. But
that's right.
But if not, we're there.
We'll definitely be there.
We'll be there.
Yep. The fall weather is here. You all wanted to race go-karts, so now...
Sorry, we may be tied up.
Yeah.
All right, joining us now on the phone is a person who is, I guess, considered an expert on the margin tax, at least how to give us the right information for people to make the right choice in what to do to support this. Ms. Karen Griffin joins us on the line and in studio from Aqua Plumbing, and a gentleman who's been a friend of our show, has been on in the past, Mr. Artie White, joins us at the microphone. Good evening, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
Good evening. How are you? Did you want to put the headset on so you can hear Karen?
No.
That might help. That's always when you have beginners here in the studio, Karen. Well, listen, we thank you for taking the time to be with us, because obviously this tax initiative, there's so much going on around this Margin 3 tax, and there's a lot of scuttlebutt. And really what I'd like to do to have you begin with is explain what the tax is, what it really is, and how people may be getting a little bait and switched here on this tax.
You're exactly right. It is a bit of a bait and switch. What we know about the margin tax is it's a deeply flawed tax measure. It would create a new tax here in the state of Nevada, and the proponents call it the Education Initiative. Unfortunately, it would do nothing to guarantee more funds for education. What we do know it would do would be hurt thousands of small business owners just like Artie and major employers here in the state. It would damage our state's economy, cause the loss of thousands of jobs throughout the state of Nevada, and increase the costs that you and I pay for things like food, housing, gas, utilities, even health care. In fact, today we came out with a study. We released a study from Jeremy Aguero of Applied Analysis. He's a leading economic analyst here in the state of Nevada. And because the margin tax doesn't exempt health care, that includes Medicare and Medicaid reimbursement payments, businesses like doctors and hospitals would be taxed. This is a 203% increase on the business taxes for Nevada healthcare providers. So we could see reduced access to care and higher healthcare costs even here in the state of Nevada as a result of the margin tax if this thing were to pass in November. And just to give your listeners kind of a basic idea of what the margin tax is, it's a 2% tax on the gross revenues of businesses that have revenues of more than $1 million annually. So if you have gross revenues of $1 million and a penny for your business, you would pay taxes on your entire revenue, not just the part that's over $1 million. Now, you can take one of 3 deductions. First of all, let me take that back. Take a step back. You can deduct your modified business tax. You pay that. And then you can take one of 3 additional deductions. You can deduct the cost of goods sold, which, by the way, is different from the federal definition of goods sold. Or you can deduct employee compensation up to $300,000 per employee. or you can take a standard 30% deduction. And what we know about this tax is, on average, it is the equivalent of a 14 to 15% corporate income tax rate for the state of Nevada. Now, for some businesses, it would be less, and for some businesses, it would be significantly higher. And because it's not based on the ability to pay, it would have to be paid in years even when you don't turn a profit. And businesses that are right now turning a profit may become unprofitable as a result of this tax. It just deserves a no vote.
Why do you suppose, and I'm just going to throw a softball out here because I think I know the answer, but I'll put it out there anyway. Why is it under the guise of an education revenue tax? Why are they using that tactic to try to build it?
It was put on the ballot by the Nevada State Education Association. And, and I understand their frustration. I think for years and years they've been trying to come up with a stable source of revenue for Nevada's education system. And if you've lived here in the state of Nevada for any length of time, you know that our education system needs some help. Now, some people would say that requires just revenue. Others would say it requires some sort of reform, and some people think it would be a combination of both. But if you've lived here for any length of time, you know we need to fix something. Mm-hmm. And I think that the teachers had a really good, I think this was coming from the right place. Unfortunately, it's the wrong tax. They had a chance to start from scratch and come up with something that would work for everybody, but instead they didn't do that, and what they put on the ballot is deeply flawed and very costly.
I think one of the biggest problems that I'm hearing on this, and this is just from a lay person, is I think the explanation that you put out there is very, very good, but I don't know if the average voter in the city is going to understand what this is all about. You make a really
good point.
Because they're going to hear.
The proponents have a very simple and easy message. Like I said, if you've lived in Nevada for any length of time, you know we need to fix education. And so when you call something the education initiative in your marketing, that sounds really good. Unfortunately, when you start to peel back the layers of the onion, you realize how bad this tax really is. And, it's not based on the ability to pay. There's no plan or no accountability and no guarantee for any funds that would actually get into the state's distributive school account. Because what this tax does is it sends about $800 million annually into the state's distributed school account. Now, that's the account that is used in the state's general fund to fund education. Unfortunately, what's happened in the past is that lawmakers, when you put more money into that pot, lawmakers can take the money that had been in there right on out and use it to fund other portions of the budget. And they've done it as recently as 2009 with the room tax diversion in Washoe and Clark counties. So we know what's happened. They've got a long history of doing that kind of thing with what are supposed to be education funds. And so there's no guarantee it would increase education funds, and there's no plan for any money that would actually stay in the state's distributed school account for how that money would be spent. So we don't know if it would be used on bureaucrats at the top levels of our education department, or if it would ever get down to our children in the classroom where it can really benefit kids.
How are the proponents of the tax bill presenting it to the public?
What they say is, that we need to fund education and big business needs to pay. Well, here's the problem. $1 million in revenue is not a lot of money. You start to get a few employees, you start to do pretty well, and your revenue, you can very quickly get to $1 million in revenue, even though you may have very slim or no profit margins at all. And so because it's not based on the ability to pay, it is so damaging for small businesses here in the state of Nevada. Businesses with, say, higher revenues, but, real thin 1-2% profit margins, those profits would be wiped out entirely in many cases. And, there are a number of businesses that I've seen their numbers run, and they go from having a modest profit to being underwater if this tax were to pass in November. And we're talking local coffee shops, local restaurants, a lot of small business owners that you consider them. The average Nevadan considers them a small voter. Those are people that live in your neighborhood. And they're small business owners, and they'd be deeply hurt by this tax.
Artie, I want to ask you the question from the standpoint of the business owner, and obviously I know what you're doing to educate other business owners, but let's share with our audience, as a business owner, what are you telling other business owners about this tax and why it needs to be defeated?
I'm telling all the business owners exactly what Karen's telling them. I learned a lot from her, and I think it's important that the public knows what really truly is being said in that law, and as she put it, peeling back the layers, you finally realize what this tax is really all about, and the fact that it's not guaranteed to go to education. From a small business, we're a family-owned plumbing company with 15, 20 employees. We'll just crack $1 million, and I'm going to have a huge tax burden if the voters vote yes on number 3 on the margin tax, and it's going to be devastating to our company. A lot of the small business owners, contracting firms such as mine, and not just limited to plumbing companies, they're actually talking about possibly closing up or moving, and there are some moves right now being made, researching other cities to move into, because this is going to be a very devastating tax where they will not survive.
Interesting. All right, we're going to stop right there for a quick break. Karen, can you hang on for a little bit longer?
Sure will.
All right, thank you. You're listening to Vegas Unwrapped. Karen Griffin, Artie White, talking about the upcoming election regarding the margin tax and how damaging it could be to businesses and the business culture here in Nevada. Phillips and Cash, Bobcat on the board, JPEG behind the camera, and you, the listener, will be back right after this.
Let's talk about hospice.
All right, welcome back to Vegas Unwrapped. Talking about the margin tax, the big debate coming up on the November ballot. Really isn't much of a debate when you listen to the facts about it. Joining us on the Aqua Plumbing phone line still is Karen Griffin. She's still out there hanging. You like that there?
I did. I
slide that right in there for you, buddy.
Yeah, you did. Wait till you get the belt.
Shameless plug.
I was going to say on Pit Road Racing gets $200 a month for that, okay?
But no, actually, I can't. I did that for Artie because he was kind enough to arrange this interview with Karen, and one of his organizations have supported this interview. So kind of give Artie a couple of plugs in here. So
yeah, $100 next month, Artie.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm with you.
So, Karen, back to you if I can.
Yeah.
My question to you is, when it was realized that this tax initiative was going to go down the path that it is going right now, couldn't there have been, or what was done to possibly change the direction of this tax to not hurt businesses as much in its wording or process within the bill or whatever, to still benefit education directly and not directly hurt the business temperature in the state?
Well, unfortunately, our initiative petition process doesn't allow for that. What happened is the teachers got enough signatures from registered voters here in the state of Nevada to get it on the ballot in November. State lawmakers did have a chance to put an alternative on the ballot during the last legislative session, or pass this initiative in the way it was written. They couldn't make any changes, but they could have put an alternative on the ballot. They chose not to do that. So this initiative petition is going on the ballot as question 3 as is. You can't make any changes because the voters signed this initiative petition and were able to get it on the ballot. The teachers were able to do that, and the voters got the signatures. So we can't change it. And in fact, if it becomes law in November, it couldn't be changed for a minimum of 3 years because it's an initiative petition. And that's another one of the things that is just so detrimental about this. We know it would hurt small businesses. We know it's the equivalent of an average 14 to 15% corporate income tax rate. And you know what's interesting about that? That rate, you hear it and you think, okay, well, I don't really know what that means. Well, let me give you a little bit of perspective. Here in Nevada, we consider California a high tax state. California's corporate income tax rate is 8.8%. So on average, this would be nearly double California's corporate income tax rate. And beyond that, it would take Nevada from about middle of the road as far as states are concerned for business taxes to, depending on how you look at it, the fourth or fifth highest tax state in the nation for businesses.
And for the longest time, we've been known as one of the most corporate tax-friendly structures, like forever, along with Delaware, and I think, who's the other one? Florida has a very friendly corporate structure, and I read what you just talked about a couple of days ago, how our tax situation would vault us into one of the most taxed, business taxable states, which completely flips our position in the country.
Yeah, it really, there wouldn't be a whole lot of reason for businesses to come here. I have never heard a business say, well, I'm going to come to the state with the highest tax rate in the nation.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right, absolutely.
I wonder if that new company, not new company, but the new company that the auto...
Tesla,
I wonder if Tesla...
Concessions were made for them.
Concessions were made for them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I see.
Yep.
Okay. Very.
And you think the casinos are going to be paying into this?
How special?
Right. So, Artie, let me come back to you. What is being done on the ground floor level of trying to spread the word to those who may not be aware of what this tax is about? And I'll give you an example of what I'm referring to. It's hard for me to straddle the fence on this, and I'll tell you why. My wife is an administrator in one of the elementary schools here in town, so I'm very pro supporting education. However, I've taken the other side on this particular bill personally, that this is not a good thing. So I then went on and I asked my wife, I said, how many of your teachers are even aware that this is on the ballot and what this is all about? And my wife said, I don't know. So what's being done in the field, so to speak, to help educate the everyday voter to defeat this bill in November?
It's just boots on the ground. You know, you strike a conversation with somebody, try to bring the margin tax, if you understand it, as I do, you try to bring it to the subject, the subject of the table and educate as many people as you can, because our problem is this: most of the voters don't know, and that is the biggest problem that we have as small business owners. And let's take contracting, aqua plumbing, or any of the electrical companies or any of those off the table. Let's talk about clothing stores, 7-Elevens, coffee shops, things of that nature that might crack $1 million. They're going to be gone too, and that's going to be a problem for from an unemployment standpoint. It's not just contracting, so it's more than talking to contractors. You need to talk to store owners and employees of store owners and ask them what they're going to do when the store closes. Pretty soon there's going to be more people than there is jobs, which is a problem now, but it's going to be exacerbated.
Question for the both of you. There are pollsters out there that poll everything when it comes to elections. At this point in time, do you have any indication whether or not the polls are saying that this bill will or will not pass?
Yes, actually we do. So if anybody out there pays attention to Ralston reports, or he's on KSNB as well here in Las Vegas, he released a little bit of some polling results that the Coalition to Defeat the Margin Tax did just very recently. What we found out from our very recent polling is that the vast majority of Nevadans don't know about this. About 70% of voters hadn't heard about it. And at face value, if tomorrow were voting day, this initiative would pass. It would pass because at face value it sounds so good. But as soon as people know a little bit about it, we very quickly gain the upper hand. The no vote very quickly gains the upper hand. And so what that means for our coalition and our campaign is that this is a very costly campaign to run, because in order to get the word out to all voting Nevadans, as many voting Nevadans as we can, we have to get on the airwaves. We have to be on TV, we have to be on radio, and we have to be on a lot. And so in order to defeat this, we've got to have a massive television and radio ad campaign.
Will you have people out at the polling centers the day of election?
Not allowed to poll on the day of election. Not allowed to.
You're not allowed to hand out literature or any of that stuff.
Not on
to
the,
talk to people?
You can't
Not on
hand
the day
out
of
literature near a polling place. Yeah, you got to be real careful.
Let
Put them a block away.
let me throw something out to you about the Nevadans' feeling about education. I've lived here for almost 20 years, and I actually see it as a double-edged sword. There are people that, and I'm going to say, go out on the limb because I don't have statistics, but I would challenge anybody to challenge this. The educated people in this city are very much for anything that will bring education to a higher level. We're ashamed that the state is 49th in education. On the other hand, there's a group, and it's a very, very large group, that doesn't want to see another dime go towards education because they feel that teachers are overpaid, that they're underworked, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there are really two very separate groups out here. You really have to focus your campaign, I would imagine, on the, without showing any disrespect, the more educated people in the city and in this county.
Well, and I don't know if it's more educated or not, but you're certainly right. There are people out there that we know are going to vote no. They hear the word tax and they're not interested in voting yes. Those are people that we know are going to vote no matter what. So we are definitely looking at people that are potentially playable. We want to talk to people, and we want to get our message out to those who haven't made up their minds yet, who want to dig a little bit deeper and know more about it, or even people who think they're going to vote yes, and they would vote yes if the election were today. But as soon as you, as we talked about earlier, peel back the layers of the onion for them and show them exactly what this would do, they very quickly change their mind.
In your opinion,
those are the people we're out reaching out to right now, and of course we're always talking to our supporters that would support us, without hearing those.
In your opinion, do you think you have enough time to get this done?
Yeah, I mean, we're working diligently. This is the time. In the next few weeks is when you will start to see all sorts of political ads flying. So this is the time. We're not behind the curve, if that's what you're asking. You haven't really seen those political ads yet because those come at the very end of campaign season.
Karen, we appreciate your time. I want to give Artie the final word as we close here. So, Artie,
thank you so much for having me.
You got it. Stay tight there. We'll let you go in a minute. Artie, as a business owner, with about the last minute and a half we have or so, what would be your message to the folks out there regarding this tax?
Please become educated. Listen when somebody wants to talk about the margin tax with you. It's really, really important because it's going to affect the entire state, not just Las Vegas. And right now it's boots on the ground, and we have to get the word out as to the detrimental aspect of this tax.
Well, we'll end it on that. Karen, thank you so much for taking time with us tonight on the show, and hopefully whatever role that Vegas Unwrapped is playing in helping spread the word will make a difference in yay or nay votes come November for the election on this initiative.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Karen. We appreciate Artie, as always, from Aqua Plumbing. Why don't you give a phone number or website for people to get in touch with you for all their plumbing needs? And why don't you give your slogan? You can say that on the internet.
Okay.
Site, so go for it.
All right, here we are. My name's Delicious Artie White with Aqua Plumbing, where Aqua Plumbing's the name and turd herding's the game. I want to thank Karen for coming on for us. Really appreciate it. We can be reached at 702-642-8400. We are a 24-hour plumbing service and repair company, and our email address is aquaplumbinglv.net. Check it out. We've got a video on there. It's a lot of fun, and please come to Vegas Unwrapped, and there's some videos on there as well.
How about a quick plug to the organization that supported Karen's appearance with us tonight?
I am the Vice President of the PHCC of Nevada at Plumbing, Heating, Cooling Contractors. It was started in 1893. It is nationwide, and we have a local chapter here in Las Vegas we're very proud of. And Karen was nice enough to come and talk to our group and educate us. Again, we were just like everybody else. We had no idea.
Absolutely. Well, we want to thank the PHCC for sponsoring Karen's appearance tonight. We want to thank Karen for coming on, and Art, always good to see you here on the airwaves, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time. Coming up next, already in the phone hopper, Mr. Dion Lee, the head coach of the Las Vegas Showgirls. We'll get to Dion right on the other side of the break. You're listening to Vegas Unwrapped with Bobcat on the board, Jay Begg on the camera, Phillips and Cash, you the listener. We'll be back right after this. The show that continues to unwrap stuff like you wouldn't believe. And joining us next on the line is someone that we haven't actually had the pleasure of talking to directly on the show, although we did when he was a part of the LFL that very first year.
Yes.
Although we've talked to many of his players over the years, and we've come out to games in the past. Joining us on the phone is the head coach of the Las Vegas Showgirls, Mr. Dion Lee. How are you, Coach?
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing very well. Thank you for making time for us on the spur of the moment, as you and I were talking on Facebook earlier today.
Oh, hey, I if I got something I gotta say, I would love to say it. And short notice is the best, because that's when you get the best out of me.
There, I like it.
Coach, this is Ricky. When Aaron told me earlier this evening that you were coming on, and I said to him, "Oh, is he bringing the players?" And Aaron said, "No." I said, "Get this guy off the air. What are you talking about?" Now,
I know. You know what? Everybody wants me for the players. I play women's football, and I have a good-looking group of ladies that I hang out with all the time, because they're just awesome athletes and awesome football players.
But I'm just teasing. I'm real happy to have you on the show as well.
And we've had the opportunity to interview some of the players in the past and whatnot. But let's get to the reason you're on tonight. Tonight you're on to talk about something that you're doing a fundraising campaign for on Indigo, and it's about women's football, the movement. Why don't you talk about that for a little bit, Coach?
Yeah, well, I've been around women's football for the last 8 years, and I've seen it develop from just an idea to actually being on TV, national TV, be it the LFL, be it the WFA, which is the Women's Outdoor Football League that we play in, and I got involved in the community and actually got girls flag football back in 2008 here in Las Vegas at the high school level, because there was no girls football nowhere. In 2010, 2011, the county wound up putting it in as a varsity sport, and then last year it became a varsity and JV sport for over 45 high schools here in town. But a lot of those girls, there's about 3,200 girls that play, they want to play tackle. So my thing is, for every sport that's out there, you have a male and female component, be it baseball, softball, basketball has men and women. But when it comes down to football, there is no football for girls. So we put together a format called Premier 7 Football, which is basically 7-on-7 tackle on an arena-sized football field to display the athletic ability of these young ladies. But it also shows the athletic directors and principals that it doesn't take a major budget to create this style of football. And what we're doing is we're hosting a major tournament here, Super Bowl weekend, believe it or not, January 28th through February 1st. It's going to be men, women, girls, boys, flag, and tackle divisions. But the key to the fundraising is to put it on a national highlight by bringing in a national sports network, which we can't announce right now because our papers are being drawn up before we can make that announcement. But it's a big network that most people watch.
Well, I'll tell you what,
on your cable network or your DirecTV or Dish.
Make a deal with me, Coach. When that is signed, I want the scoop as to who it is.
Okay. Well, all right. I'm trying to give you some more. A lot of college football comes on this station.
Okay.
It's a game on it right now. So you plug it in.
Gotcha.
But I didn't say the name. So
gotcha. Let me use my ESP.
Part of our own production of the championship game.
Let me use my ESP skills to see if I can figure it out.
Hey, you know what? You'll be real close if you use those brains.
You better never do that again.
But anyway, we're doing the movement because we're trying to get women's football to drop down into the high school levels across the country, okay? But what happens is when you say girls football or women's football, people say, what is that? They don't have no idea what it is. And it's the same thing if you just said football. That's what it is. So So our thing is to show the world that women can play football and that the girls want to play it. So we put together a format which is 7-on-7. It's on an arena-sized football field, a 50-yard from goal line to goal line, 8-yard end zone, so 66 yards long, 30 yards wide. That can be played on any open field, you know, at a park or on the side of the soccer field at the schools. Just need to be painted down. And we're going to air this thing. It's going to cost us $125,000 because, once again, we're dealing with women's sports. We don't have sponsors. Think about the WNBA. What sponsors do they have? Mm-hmm. You know, women's sports is just not sponsored at all.
Right.
Through corporations. So our thing is, hey, well, let's create the movement where we sponsor our own event to get it out there nationally and worldwide, and then the sponsors will come once the demand is there.
Gotcha. Well, that makes sense. I mean, you're not putting the cart before the horse, so to speak. You're letting it happen properly in its progression.
Correct. So what we're using is existing women's football teams who normally play 11s outside, but we're inviting them for a tournament here in town to play 7s, this form of football. So we're put the rules out there. There's a website up there called premier7football.com. That you can go to. It's open to men semi-pro teams, men and women's flag teams, women's semi-pro teams. High schools can play flag. I mean, we're looking at the whole gamut of football under these new rules.
Well, it sounds like a great opportunity for the sport to really expand. How can people get involved and support the fundraising effort?
It's real easy. You can go over to Indiegogo.com. I don't have the backslash in my head right now, but if you put in the search, it'll say Women's Football Movement, and it'll take you right to our link. We have about a 4-minute video that you can actually watch and understand what we're trying to do. You'll hear the perspective from other young ladies who are adults who played tackle football, wishing that it was football for them when they were in high school. You have an athlete that's in high school here in town currently who plays flag football who wants to play tackle football, but she's also wondering why don't they offer scholarships in football. You know, most high school sports offer scholarships at the next level, with the exception of football. So our whole thing is pushing Title IX, making it equal and fair. For every sport, you must have a male and female component. Right. And like I said, when you come over here, you can donate. I don't want to say donate. I say sponsor, because when you put up $10, your name goes into the main program. As a sponsor. $25, you get your name in there, plus you get a commemorative what I want to call it.
Program book?
The program book, yeah. Right. It goes up to $50, you'll get that, and, you know, a T-shirt. You go $100, you get a T-shirt and a DVD of the whole event or festivities. So it has levels. Right.
I just pulled up the page, and they run, as you said, from as low as a $10 donation to all the way up to a title sponsor of $100,000 for the tournament. So a great opportunity. I've got it right here, Indiegogo.com / women's tackle football, the movement. And Vegas Unwrapped will, you and I made a deal earlier today on Facebook. So on behalf of Vegas Unwrapped, we'll take care of making a little contribution and support your efforts and see what we could do. And then, of course, you know, as time draws near for these events, keep us in mind if there's anything that we can do when you're ready to promote them, or you need a couple MCs for stuff, just let us know. We'll be all over it.
We would love for that to happen. We're also going to be hosting the Super Bowl party that Sunday, because it's going to be at Cashman Field where the championship games are going to be held at.
Okay.
And we're going to go right from the championship games from 8 o'clock in the morning to 3 in the afternoon.
Okay.
Go right into Exhibit Hall A, and we're going to host the largest non-gaming, family-oriented Super Bowl party, about anywhere between 4,000 to 6,000 people. Wow. Which will be free for locals. You just got to pay for your own food.
Right.
We have vendors there.
Okay.
But we're going to have two 30-foot by 30-foot screens.
Wow.
sound stage and everything. So we're gonna have a big party. It's gonna be nice. We would love for you guys to have vendor booths out there.
Okay.
We're gonna do a lot of things here in the community just for that.
Sounds good. Well, keep us in mind, because whatever we can do to help host, MC, attend, whatever, just keep us in mind, and we'll do what we can to support the events.
That sounds wonderful, man. That's awesome.
Thanks, Coach.
And I definitely will be touching base and also donating to the Ricky cause.
The Ricky cause.
Excellent. That is so cool, Coach. You have no idea. You just made my night.
Oh yeah, definitely that. So I mean, again, we each got to reach out to each other and help each other push the movement. Push the Ricky fan base calls, whatever, and
you
make
got
it
it
happen.
Sounds great. Coach, thank you for taking time, and we'll talk with you along the way.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks,
Take care.
Coach.
Thank you, Ricky. Bye-bye.
You got it. Coach Dion Lee from the Las Vegas. I got goosebumps.
Wow, that was so cool.
The Las Vegas Showgirls talking about, and it's an interesting concept, and one that maybe on Tuesday Night Sports Show we'll get Mr. Perez's input on, on girls, women's tackle football starting in the high school level.
Nice.
Sounds interesting, but yeah, definitely check it out. I thought it was unique and just something that, again, fits right into our category of supporting our community.
And unwrapping things that people didn't know existed.
Absolutely.
That's our big one.
All right, we're at halftime. We're at halftime of our show.
By the way, I almost did that, then forgot we were still on camera.
Did what? What he did?
Yeah, what he just did.
Well, but he could do it because he's behind the camera.
Duh.
Right. But he did remind you to square up to the camera.
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
Cashism.
From Phillips.
All right. Hour number 1 in the books. Hour number 2 right around the corner, which can only mean one thing.
Oy.
We digress from here, folks. Celebrity birthdays, dates in history.
Doing it with Styles.
Mr. Bobcat.
Quickly for Mr. Cash, it's all said and done over at Kansas State. 2014 Auburn a winner tonight, guys.
2014?
Wow. Yes.
I win.
Did you pick that game?
Yeah, I picked Kansas State with the points.
How much was the points?
14 and a half.
Oh, there you go.
You're in there, man.
Good job.
One.
All right.
I got one.
All right, here we go. Celebrity birthdays, dates in history on the other side of the break. We'll be right back.
Aaron Phillips and Ricky Cash. These guys are a pain in my friggin' ass.
On Vegas Unwrapped, Thursday night, 7 to 9 p.m. on Vegas AllNet Radio.
I know. All right, welcome back to Vegas Unwrapped.
We're probably going to laugh every time we hear that.
Yeah, that's classic.
The promo.
That's a classic. So we want to thank Sandy and Mike for doing it. I want to thank Coach Dion Lee for coming on. Want to thank Karen Griffin. Want to thank Aqua Plumbing, Artie White. It's been a very busy first hour, Mr. Cash.
You know, and if you do have a plumbing need, he's really the guy to call.
Listen, anybody wants to herd turds for a living, certainly.
I can't.
Isn't that a great line?
Was that what he said?
He says that every networking meeting. The way he did it, I'm delicious Artie White, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And plumbing's my game, and turd herding's whatever. He does that every time.
That's a pisser,
isn't it?
Oh, come on! That was a catchism. That was a catchism.
Oh my God!
Only 4 minutes into the second hour, down the tubes already.
It doesn't take long. We know that.
We're moving in.
Have you studied today, Cash?
No.
Bring up my pod, will you?
Sure.
This is from Mr. Cash.
Are we doing this first, or are we doing Styles?
Down your toilet we go.
That should be our theme song at the start of the second hour.
That's a sound that...
No, that's the end of the show.
That's the end of the show.
Yeah, really. That's even better.
I wonder what it would sound like if it overflows, huh?
What's that?
I said, I wonder what that would sound like if it overflows.
Glub.
All right. It's that time, Mr. Cash.
For?
If you are celebrating a birthday today, September 18th, we want to wish you a happy birthday from all of us at Vegas Unwrapped Internet Radio, and you are celebrating a birthday with these people.
The contest is on.
All right, Cat. You're like 2 out of the last 3, right?
I'm 2 out of 3. But, you know, I think we should let JPEG. Set your camera up and sit down, and I'll tell you what. The winner of tonight meets me in the finals for next week for the end of the and I'll tell you what we're going to do.
September.
For the end of September, and I'll tell you what. The loser of all buys half-price milkshakes at the Sonic after the show.
Oh, my God.
Are you in?
I'm in.
Are you in?
I'm in, but you know...
I'm in.
Boy, did he study today.
Boy, he's ready to go.
He's
they have
gonna kill
dietetic
us.
shakes.
I'm actually going to be, since you said you didn't study, I did study. Did you study, JPEG?
No.
All right, so Cash or Aaron, let those two battle it out tonight. The winner tonight meets me in the finals, and the loser buys the shakes.
He's giving himself a bye.
Yeah.
I think he deserves it for what he's done.
2 out of the last 3 weeks.
I mean, if you want me, I'll go ahead and just skunk them all right now.
No, thanks.
Who was the virgin that beat you last time? Somebody beat you who had never played before.
Oh, what was her name? The girl.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking.
It's only because I was distracted.
Right, exactly. All right, here we go. Allison Lohman, Tim McGraw's daughter in the movie Flicka. She was 23 when she played Nicolas Cage's 14-year-old daughter in Matchstick Men. How old is she?
Wow, Matchstick Men is at least 10 years old. 25.
25.
27.
27.
I'm buying this week.
All right.
Buying this
You're
week.
both wrong. Age 35. James Marsden. He played Cyclops in the X-Men movies and was also in Hairspray, Superman Returns, The Notebook, Enchanted, and Katherine Heigl's 27 Dresses.
Yeah, he's a pretty good actor. I loved him in Enchanted. 41.
I was going to say that.
That's what they all
42.
41 is the correct answer. Mr. Cash gets on the board quickly.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, ding. Lance Armstrong,
Lance.
former Tour de France, 7-time winner.
Okay.
I said former.
37.
37.
Yeah, I think he's about 45.
43, however, would be the correct answer. Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith's significant other.
44.
44.
Let's say 46.
43 would be the correct answer, however. Aisha Tyler. She used to be the ex-host of Talk Soup. She also was on Friends, and she's had a regular gig on CSI, 24 Ghost Whisperer, and is the new host of Whose Line Is It Anyway?
46.
Ironically, on the CW, now that I think about it.
47.
Aisha Tyler, 44. Ricky Bell, he was a member of New Edition and the Belle in Belle Biv DeVoe, singer.
48.
47.
47 is the correct answer, Mr. Cash.
If you say 47 3 or 4 times, you're probably going to get 1 or 2.
Actress Holly
I tried
Robinson.
that last week. It didn't work.
You kept going the wrong way. That was the problem.
Yeah.
Actress Holly Robinson Pete. She was in 21 Jump Street, hanging with Mr. Cooper. Did you know her dad was the original Gordon on Sesame Street? And, of course, is married to Rodney Peete, former NFL quarterback. Played for the- 54.
48.
50 would be the correct answer. Let's see. Frankie Avalon.
Wow.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive.
He's ancient.
That's right.
He lives here in Vegas, too, doesn't he? I think he does.
Does he?
I think he does live in Vegas.
65.
I'm going to say 69.
74 would be the correct answer.
Whoa!
Let's see. Fred Willard, comedian who got himself in trouble for self-satisfaction a few years back.
I don't know.
71.
75.
74 would be the correct answer. Robert Blake.
Is he still alive?
He is.
Shoot anybody lately?
I'll tell you what, I'll even give you an extra credit point if you get not only the birthday right, but if you can tell me what his name was when he was a little rascal. I'll give you an extra credit point.
Wait. Does it have to be the Little Rascal?
Because that's what he was.
Yeah.
No, but he was on another show, too.
I'm only asking what his name was on the Little Rascals.
State of the game, JPEG.
That's right.
78.
Okay.
76.
Okay.
And I can't remember his name. Because he wasn't Alfalfa.
No, not even close.
No,
Well, you're
no.
both wrong on the age. He's turning 80,
Wow.
and his nickname was Mickey.
Mickey.
That's right. If this gentleman was still alive, James Gandolfini would have turned how old today?
Wow.
59.
Tony Soprano. Forget about it.
Say 57.
52. Older than his age. He was died early, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Hey, fellas, I hate to tell you, but it looks like Cash is going up against Bobcat next week because that does it for celebrity birthdays. That does it for celebrity birthdays. Now we see Mr. Cash doing dates in history. Because, of course, he covered most of these events in history.
It's right. It's true.
What year did President George Washington lay the cornerstone for the U.S. Capitol?
You know, George.
You had a conversation with him about this, didn't you?
I said, George, aren't you rushing it a little bit? He said, I want to move it out of New York City. I want to put it in my city. And we'll call it 1791.
Oh, my goodness gracious. I would have just doubled your points for birthdays if you had nailed this one. 1793.
Wow.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
What year did Chile declare its independence from Spain?
Who?
Chile.
Chile.
Thursday. With crackers.
Chile's independence from Spain.
Yes, sir.
Spain was having a lot of trouble around 1898.
Okay.
So I'm going to say Chile probably jumped in right after that. I'm going to say around 1906.
How about 1810? Good answer.
That was a good answer.
Yes.
That was only 100 years
That's all.
off.
That's all. You've got to carry the one.
I got the decade wrong.
What year was the first edition of the New York Times published?
Whoa.
I know that.
You know that one?
Yeah.
Jump in there.
All I know is it was 163 years ago.
So we do the math. Sit back here.
Do the math, moron.
You got the whiteboard there.
163 years.
Oh my God, we'll be here the rest of the hour by the time Cash figures that out.
Funny. I can't even do that, Ed.
All right, 1851. I'll
Yeah,
get you off
right
the hook.
there. There you go.
You were all over.
Right.
3 years, right?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And you'll find out why that's significant later.
Oh, okay. What year did Jimi Hendrix die of a drug overdose?
Ooh.
At age 27.
He was using, man, 1971.
1970 would be the correct answer. What year was newspaper heiress Patricia Hearst captured by the FBI in San Francisco some 19 months after being kidnapped by the Sudanese Liberation Army?
The SLA, baby.
SLA, you know it.
1972.
1975.
Darn.
Man, oh man. What year did Sammy Sosa of the Cubs become the first player in Major League Baseball to hit 60 home runs in a season twice?
1989.
1999, however.
I meant 99.
But you didn't say 99.
I meant 99.
What year were letters postmarked from Trenton, New Jersey that later tested positive for anthrax were sent to the New York Post and NBC anchorman Tom Brokaw?
2002.
2001 would be the correct answer. Oh, let's see. Last but not least, mercifully, what year was the final episode of the soap opera Guiding Light, which aired on CBS, ending? Wow, it's even older than Cash. A 72-year run on radio and TV.
You know what it was, though? You know what happened, don't you?
What's that?
That was Cash's first starring role.
The Guiding Light went out.
Yes. When did the light go out?
Yeah.
2010.
2009 would be the correct answer. He was close, but no cigar. And mercifully, that does it for
That does
dates
it,
in history.
right.
Coming up on the other side of the break, our very own JPEG with Doing It With Styles with his next award winners and announcements. You're not going to want to miss it. Stay right there. We'll be back right after this. Jeez. He always says his memory doesn't go. But 2.5 hours ago, over our pre-show dinner, we were talking about things that he's going to do because he's got a very empty schedule tomorrow. And now he can't remember what they were. And I know he's going to, and I know what they are because I gave them to him.
Yeah.
I know he's going to forget one of them.
At least
and
one.
it's going to be one that is so vital.
Yeah.
that will be running around naked in either Chicago or at Sienna's on October 5th. One or the other.
I think I have to go to Tuxedo Junction.
Jeez Louise. Oh, my goodness.
You know what?
Gracious.
I'll just, you know how you need, sometimes you need things to remind you to do things, right?
I call them a pad and paper.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to think of naked.
Naked?
Naked will get us to Tuxedo Junction.
And who are you thinking about being naked to do that?
That I will not tell.
Thank God. All right, without further ado.
However, I can give a date to it.
What? A date?
4/11/64.
Well, that's not when you were born.
No, it wasn't.
It's not when I was born.
We'll just leave it at that.
It's not when I was born.
That was the first time you got lucky.
No, we may get a phone call now. We may get a phone call.
That actually happened back in 1901.
That's right. And the dust that settled afterwards, oh my gosh.
Didn't you know? Hey, JPEG, didn't you know when they settled the West, this guy led the train out here?
One of those nights.
All righty.
Yes,
All right.
it
It is now time to turn it over to our good friend and videographer, Mr. JPEG.
Hello.
John Stiles is his name, and it's time for Doing It with Styles. You want to bring up our background there, Mr. Bobcat?
That's right. I got to load that song in there. It's I'm sorry. It's the
Rise.
Rise. Yes. I shall get it for you. One quick second, if you will just.
Yeah, we'll just kill some air.
We'll vamp a little bit here.
Vamp a little thing right here. Here you go.
Because I don't have anything this week.
You don't.
We'll make more fun of him.
You don't have anything at all.
Yes, I do.
I'll give a shout out then.
Do a shout out then.
Hi, Lois.
Actually, this was a tough week to try to pick something. I mean, there was so much happening. Number one, this week was the 163rd anniversary of the New York Times.
Well, how was that? Huh?
Yeah,
Good job.
so that was
Good times, huh?
And Scotland, of course, is voting today to leave the UK. There was a woman in Florida flew a 4-seat Cessna on her 90th birthday. So that was pretty cool.
Wow.
And there's a city in China that has just created a sidewalk lane for smartphone users. So it was tough coming up with something, but I think I got something.
All right. I like it.
I even made some notes.
I even like the contenders you just mentioned. I think they're all
I
quite
know, and
interesting.
that's why I say that's why it's tough from time to time. But you were talking about a land rush earlier. Mm-hmm. Well, as of the 15th of September, this is, I think, wins it all. I mean, this is really cool. This is Doing It with Styles. As of the 15th of December, you can now get a domain name that is .Vegas.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
we heard about this.
That's the winner. It's going to do a lot for the city of Las Vegas. It's going to do a lot for internet businesses here in Las Vegas. A portion, I believe 10% of the income that they get from this goes to the city of Las Vegas. So my award this week for Doing It with Styles is .Vegas.
All right.
Vegas.
I already have my two already set aside. That this weekend I'm going to get my domain name. So,
well, we were talking about it and possibility of looking up.
I already looked them up.
All right.
So once the fund is funded, then we will become proud owners of a few .Vegas domains.
Sounds great.
So that's if they're not taken beforehand.
That's Doing It with Styles.
Absolutely. Good job. Yeah. I liked all the contenders. I liked all the stories that you brought up. I think it's great. And the .Vegas, they've been talking about that for a couple of years, weren't they?
Yes. Since 2008, actually.
Right. Oh, okay, so it's been longer than that.
And they are of the 1,400 top tier domain names. We are at 284.
Wow.
So we are up there on the list.
Yeah, really. Top.
We'll probably go crazy once it opens up.
Yeah.
It's like the stock market, right?
They actually did it in 3 stages. The first one was for branded companies like Caesars or MGM Grand. And then the second one was for larger businesses. And the 15th was open to the general public. So
wow.
And GoDaddy or Register.com, any of those, you can go and get your .Vegas. So I would encourage people to do that and do it with Styles.
I heard the price is fairly reasonable.
Oh, yeah. It's like
Between $10 and $50, right?
Yeah.
No, they're $50.
They're all 50.
$10 is the traditional domains like the .coms, .net, .org, and all that. But these specialized .vegas ones are $49.99 a domain.
Yeah.
So
well worth it. Well
yeah,
worth
absolutely. So Vegas Unwrapped will certainly have a few of them in their in their repertoire, in their inventory. So thank you, JPEG, as always. Good
my
stuff.
pleasure.
Good
Ricky
stuff.
Cash Fan Club.
I'm going back to my corner.
Vegas.
Go back to your corner. Ricky Cash Fan Club .Vegas. Well, that's a possibility.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, did you know that the laws in Colorado have helped Peyton Manning's pizza business?
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean, how cool? There's a story. It just flashed in front of me here. There's a story on Bleacher Report.
I just got it. I just got that. That was at least 35 seconds after he told what it was. I just got that.
Okay.
All right. It's that old age is creeping up,
folks. You can't make this stuff up.
Get him a medical card.
Oh my God!
Definitely. I think he's got a good point there.
Well, we're getting close here.
Light him up, baby.
So, in a recent sit-down with Sports Illustrated's Peter King, Peyton Manning more or less admitted that Colorado's decision to legalize marijuana has been a huge boon for his pizza stores. Weeks before the state passed a legalization amendment in 2012, the Broncos quarterback began snapping up Papa John's franchises in the Denver area. The move prompted even the most casual observer to deduce that Peyton, a wily old fox, had bought the stores to capitalize on the impending Munchies boom that would sweep the state. And those observers would appear to be right if we read between the lines Manning is dishing out. Answering a question concerning whether he votes for public officials, which he does, Manning told King that he likes to educate himself on the people and issues of the day, namely, he likes to stay informed on local politicians and the potentially profitable laws they pass. Quote, you try to know who you're voting for. I've gotten to know some of the folks here in Colorado. There's some different laws out here in Colorado. Pizza business is pretty good out here, believe it or not, due to some recent law changes. So when you come to a different place, you've kind of got to learn everything that comes with it, close quote. So I tell you what, good for him.
Peyton's on the move.
I mean, yeah, he's doing all right.
What did he buy? About 14 of them, did he?
Yeah, he's quite the double digits. Have you seen the new commercial that Gatorade has done for Derek Jeter?
Oh,
seriously,
I heard about it.
Oh my God,
it's all over Facebook.
It's all over Facebook. I watched it this morning. Basically, he's on his way to the stadium and
last game kind of thing.
Yeah, last game kind of thing. Well, last home game because they finish in Yankee Stadium before they end the season up in Boston. But he gets out of the car. They're at a red light. You know, he's being driven to the stadium, and he gets out of the car and says, "I want to walk from here." And as he's walking the rest of the way, you know, he's meeting all the fans. Everybody's yelling at him, "Hey, Jeter!" Hey, and he's stopping talking to. I mean, it's a minute and a half. When was the last time you saw a minute and a half commercial on TV? Right? Gatorade. I mean,
last one.
This last one that was just done.
One he did.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't a minute and a half.
It was pretty close.
So, I mean, if you catch it on Facebook, I'll tell you what, it's again another. Do you think it's overboard on Jeter? I don't.
Well, you're a New York Giant that fan.
Yankees.
That guy.
Well, all right. As a non-Yankee fan, do you think it's overboard for Jeter, all these tributes?
No, because I'm a New Yorker.
Okay.
So, you know, my hometown.
20 years, right?
20 years with
20 years, the same team.
Never got.
I'm going to tell you something. You don't find many pro athletes sticking with the same. I mean, I know there are some, but
Very
I
few.
mean, in this day,
not even nobody has done 20 years. Prior to him, since maybe a Craig Biggio or a Paul Molitor, but that's it.
Yeah.
You think about it, not too many at all.
And I hope that he's going to retire. We all know that he bought a really nice home out in Newport Richey, Florida, on the other side of Tampa, right there, right?
He's retired.
And I hope that he retires, and then all of a sudden the bug, and then he doesn't go out and join another team, and then have a total crap year, you know?
No, he won't. You know why? Because he's a guy who's smart enough about his legacy.
Yeah.
That he doesn't want to tarnish what he did for 20 years wearing the pinstripes.
Yeah.
And I think once he's done at 40, and you could see if he doesn't look in the mirror and admit to himself and to anybody around about how his skill set has declined over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And he's barely batting 270, 260. You know, he just doesn't have the pop he used to have. He doesn't have the running skills. He's going out the right way.
pretty much on top.
Yeah, pretty much on top. I mean, it would have been nice to see him get into the playoffs one last time this year, but that's not going to happen, obviously. And, there won't be another one like him for another lifetime. I mean, think about, from Yankee lore, you have the Mickey Mantles and the Whitey Fords and Joe DiMaggio's and Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. You're talking about once-in-a-lifetime player.
Yep.
Okay. Who's going to be the next one? Everybody's talking about Mike Trout. I don't know if there's, I don't know if Trout is the next one or not, but he certainly has the makeup for it. He plays hard. He seems to be a good kid. He's from South Jersey, so he's got the East Coast roots like Jeter does. Who knows? But there won't be another Jeter, just like there won't be another Mariano Rivera. There won't be another Pete Rose. There won't be another Babe Ruth. There won't be another Lou Gehrig.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really the end of a.
Yogi.
Oh, and Yogi. That's right. It ain't over till it's over, till the fat lady sings. So anyway, all right, enough about that. We're going to go to a break. When we come back on the other side, we'll figure out some stuff. We'll figure out some stuff. Anyway, you're listening to Vegas Unwrapped with Phillips and Cash. Give us a call, 702-483-4444. Or if you're listening to us on podcast, want to say hey to you guys on podcast, you can always email us at vegasunwrapped@gmail.com. Post on our Facebook page, Vegas Unwrapped Internet Radio, or you can even check us out on our website, which is what, Mr. Cash?
VegasUnwrapped.net.
There you go, especially with the Ricky Cash Fan Club tab.
Yeah, I like that tab.
We'll be back with more right after this. How can you not laugh at that shout out?
There was a good one right there for the tape. I just got him right there on the tape. Yeah, I got him.
When we were in the production room yesterday, and he did that, I almost fell on the floor.
Sandy wanted him to do it again because she didn't think that was the right thing to do. We loved it. That was
perfect for
typical
for internet radio.
Absolutely. Hey, by the way, speaking of Sandy and Mike, October 5th.
Yeah, wow.
Over at Sienna's Italian Authentic Trattoria.
Trattoria.
That's right.
IA.
That's right. An evening in concert featuring the Dick Castell Orchestra. Sunday, October. Huh?
Have you heard him?
Oh, yes, we did.
When he was there a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Amazing. He's 84 years old.
Sunday, October 5th. Tickets are $35. This is a sit-down dinner concert. Seating at 6:30, dinner at 7. The show will start at 8.
When are we going to be there? Probably 7 to 8 doing interviews, right?
Unless we want to get there early to eat.
We're involved in that, too.
Yeah.
I think maybe we will.
We're going to see if the significant others are
invited.
To go.
Miss Popcat's going.
Is she?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
I got to work.
You got to work.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, tell people to pre-record their show.
Tell her she could sit with us.
Right.
Tickets are $35. You must call for reservation, 702-360-3358. Sienna's is located at 9500 West Sahara Avenue, just west of Fort Apache. Why must you call? Because there's only 120 tickets being sold for this event.
This is
and
true.
About half of them have already been sold.
Over half.
Over half now, so they
half.
continue to sell. So Sunday night, October 5th, Sandy Castell, Jimmy Molador, Peter Pavone, Mike Leonetti, Sandy Castell, Dick Castell, Mark Giove is going to be there, and I know I'm forgetting somebody. Phillips and Cash are going to be there doing interviews, and we're even going to be tuxed out if he remembers his job tomorrow.
And we're gonna MC. We're gonna open it up.
We're going to open it up, and by the way, we made our debut for television with them last night. They did a couple of scenes with us recording, and we're going to be seeing that on the CW coming up hopefully in a couple of weeks on a Saturday morning. Their show, 11 a.m. on the CW. I think on the Dish or on DirecTV it's channel 33, but on regular Cox I think it's 6.
6.
So
and I think we've already had 2 shots on it. I think the show is going to run both Saturday and Sunday.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know yet.
Okay. Well, that's
we'll
cool.
get the word.
Well, when you figure it out, let us know.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the shout out there. Hey, did you see glass bottles no longer allowed on the Las Vegas Strip? Did you hear about that?
I saw that.
Yeah, the measure prohibits anyone, and they mean anyone, from, as soon as the story finishes scrolling.
I know where it's from.
Go ahead.
It's from Sahara. No, it's not.
The measure prohibits
Sahara to Russell.
Right, along the boulevard, tourists will still be able to consume alcoholic beverages while strolling the strip. The ban will take effect 2 weeks from today.
So start drinking early.
Well, actually 2 weeks from the 16th, because we'll start drinking.
And what you got to remember about this too, this is just not only alcoholic drinks. If you have an ice bottle of Coca-Cola or Pepsi or a soda pop or something like that, or an Arizona tea in glass.
No glass, guys. Simple as that.
Yeah, there's enough aluminums, and all these bars sell all.
Please, the 7-Eleven people are upset about it.
Well,
get over it.
Start ordering. Remember back in the day where they used to have the 40s? Yeah. Remember the quart bottles of 40s? Well, get them little canned 20s.
You know what I say to 7-Eleven?
What do you say?
Go back to Pakistan.
Send your comments to VegasUnwrappedRcast@gmail.com.
Hey.
We don't get political on this show.
I'm not political. All right, go back to India too.
Go.
You want me to make it even?
Turn his mic off.
You want me to make it even for you, man? 2 Jews and a half a Catholic here.
Great.
Well,
great. Hey, by the way, did you see
this horse goes into a bar?
Did you hear about the guy who tried walking into Target and he missed? Tell me you don't get it. Please.
I got it.
Tell me you don't get it.
No, I got it. I just can't believe it came out of your mouth.
I've been saving that one for forever. Okay, now, speaking of stupidity, there's a picture on the Vegas Unwrapped fan page on Facebook of something called, you ready for this? Hold on to your hats. Diet water. Okay, diet water. Now, when I saw this, I thought Mr. Cash was up at night creating a visual for his latest Cashism.
Yeah.
Because he's had some doozies. But as much as I have to admit,
it wasn't me.
Wasn't him. Wasn't him.
Of course, I was trying to order it. Couldn't find it anywhere.
God.
What is diet water? I'm trying to read the packaging. Of course, it's not in English. Maybe that's half the problem.
There you go. Back to Pakistan.
Diet water. My God, what is that all about? I mean, that's almost as bad as what you said when older water in the pool's warmer than the other.
Oh man,
that was good. I like that one. And now, for all of you hockey buffs that are missing the Wranglers,
yes,
let us
not be remiss.
Let us not be remiss. Let us be comfortable in saying that our UNLV actually has a hockey team here. Did everybody know that?
Did not know
that. There you go. Unwrapping yet another one. And their schedule, I posted a copy of their schedule on the Vegas Unwrapped Internet Radio fan page.
Did you post it also on the Raw Power Sports page?
I don't think I did.
You should.
I should.
Yes, you should.
I'll see.
Does he do anything for these shows? Post this, Aaron. Do that, Aaron. Make a call, Aaron. Get touches, Aaron.
You notice who schleps in with his laptop, the banner. JPEG comes in with his equipment. I'm lucky he remembers his glasses.
I'm old.
Okay.
What happened to your computer, too? You remember when he got that? It was the first 3 weeks we couldn't get his eyes off the screen.
That's because here's the excuse he gave on Tuesday about that.
Porn.
I'm sick, and I can't concentrate on it.
Oh, God.
Okay? That's what he said on Raw Power Sports on Tuesday. Am I right?
I said it.
You said it.
I said it.
All right. How does a plumber plumb without his plumb? How do you do a show without stuff? I don't know, but you're right. See, you do it, Phillips. I mean, that's why I'm having him run around tomorrow to get the tuxedos and everything else he's got to do, because I can't do it tomorrow. So
I'm on it.
Happy anniversary,
boss.
Happy.
You may be the
yes, boss.
Naked.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, let's see. I got one tuxedo. I don't remember the other one.
Anything else, Massa? I'm ready, Massa.
Are you my butler? My valet?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, boss.
Don't beat me with that stick.
Oh, God. Oh, wait a minute. Is Adrian Peterson?
Yeah, Adrian's in the house.
What are we talking about here? By the way, happy anniversary to First Friday.
Yes.
First Friday is on next month's First Friday, the month of October. They will be celebrating their 12th anniversary with Downtown Music, Arts, and Food Festival that always takes place down in that part of downtown.
I've got a shout-out.
Oh, I can hardly wait for this
I've
one.
got a shout-out to a friend of the show's.
Okay.
His name is Shannon.
How did we digress? This is probably the worst digression we've ever had. Go ahead.
He lives in Minnesota.
Neon. Our buddy Neon.
Neon vacation. And he was listening to the sports show the other night, and we were talking about, who's going to win this, who's going to win that. And he writes to Aaron on a post that he thinks that the Minnesota Vikings are going to go 11-5.
Now, I almost fell off my chair when I read that post.
So he writes back, that's a bold prediction, right? And, of course, that was a good comeback. And Neon writes, 11 arrests, 5 convictions. And you know something?
So far, they got 2.
You know something? He hit the nail on the head, and it's the segue into the last thing I wanted to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is going on in the National Football League? Why are these guys who beat their wives 3 months ago all of a sudden getting now, because the heat is on, now they're getting exposed for the domestic violence that is running rampant in that league?
I agree.
Rampant. They haven't touched the surface with the things that have happened a la Ray Rice. I would venture to guess that there's at least 10% of the players out there that have involved in domestic violence. And you'll see, before the end of the year, the commissioner has put in the exempt rule that says that he can stop them from playing for indefinitely.
Right.
Don't be surprised if that count goes over 25 by the end of this football season.
I was going to say within before halfway in the season, I'll bet you there's 5 more news stories that are going to break on this thing. At least 5.
At least, I think 10 at least.
By the way, Greg Hardy from the Carolina Panthers did actually get put on that list yesterday.
Yep, so it's starting now.
Robert, I think is it Robert or something Dwyer, the running back from the Arizona Cardinals. That's the one that headbutted his wife and broke her nose.
And smacked the little baby.
Back in July. And then another receiver from the Vikings was released by the Vikings, I think, today. Not anything domestic, but he was charged. He was currently suspended by the NFL for 4 games, but because of marijuana possession and DWI or whatever, and they let him go for that too.
Yeah.
You know,
it's about time. They better clean up their act, because the NFL is no longer the sacred cow. Congressional investigations, things like that, they better straighten up. They really better straighten up.
One quick point. You know, I saw the interview with CBS and Roger Goodell, and they asked both ways to ask him about the tape on the Ray Rice thing, right? And he said that, you know, how I can't remember who the anchor was. Ask Goodell was, how did TMZ get a hold of this video and the NFL didn't? At the point he claimed he didn't have it, okay? And he says, well, we only take our evidence from loyal sources such as the Metro or the police department or whatever. He knew about this.
Of course they did.
And my final comment about this is they need to take a note from NASCAR on this. Because you pull this stuff in NASCAR, man, Bill France, Brian France, Hilton, and the rest of them, they don't play around. You're done for the year. I was trying to think of the kid's name now. Travis Quaffle, NASCAR driver. Beat the crap out of his old lady. You know what they said? 1 year suspension, you're done. You're done.
That's because they'll run your ass over.
Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, but in all seriousness, get your act together, NFL.
Right.
Get it together.
Yeah. And you know, we joke that this is a serious issue.
Absolutely.
And it's like,
well, we're not really joking about it. We're telling them, get yourself going, boys.
Speaking of which, before we go to break, Atlanta 56, Tampa Bay 14 is the final. Down
man, I was just getting ready to pull that for you.
Did you have the over?
Yeah, did you have the over? I didn't even pick the game. All right, last time we step away. When we come back, it is time for Weird News.
We need some of that.
The part of the show where we realize we're not in bad a shape as we thought. Phillips and Cash coming around the clubhouse turn with Weird News. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. I think we didn't even mention Jameis Winston and his shenanigans down at Florida State the other day.
Well, give it a quick mention real quick.
Well, he just, of course, it's publicly known that he's got quite a few legal issues regarding everything from an alleged rape a couple of years ago that he was found not guilty of, to stealing crab's legs, to other stuff, and he jumps up on a table in the middle of the student union cafeteria or building, wherever it was, and starts shouting out vulgarities. And the university and the head coach, to his credit, to some degree, is not starting him in the first half of the game on Saturday. Is it enough? Is it not? It's a big game, but I mean, this is another example of a guy who doesn't get it. His stature is this Heisman Trophy winner. Absolutely. All right, enough of that garbage. It is time now to read about the world's catastrophes, as we like to call them. Weird news
from one garbage pail to another.
Go for it. You're up.
Yeah, I know. I'm reading this and I said, can't believe it.
Read it out loud now.
All right, here we go.
Share it with everybody.
When he was 19 years old, Renee Lima Marin, with a pal, robbed 2 Aurora, Colorado video stores at gunpoint, and winning no favors from the judge, received back-to-back sentences totaling 98 years. In 2008, 8 years into his sentence, Lima Marin was mistakenly released, and until this year was a model citizen, employed, married with a son, on good terms with his parole officer. However, the mistake was found in January, and he was returned to prison, and according to his lawyers, in their August appeal, the original sentence has been reimposed, thus moving his release date to the year 2104.
In the year 2104. You ready for this one?
Sure.
You think you've seen it all at weddings?
Yeah.
Not this one.
No way.
Guests at the May wedding of Shona Carter Brooks in Ripley, Tennessee, of course that should probably explain enough of it right there, reported that the bride's idea for integrating her month-old daughter into the ceremony consisted of, you ready for this? Tying her, or well secured, she said later, to the long train of the wedding dress.
I saw that on the TV.
Dragging the child as the bride walked the aisle. Carter Brooks was forced to take to her Facebook page in defense, saying, quote, "People always have something negative to say," she wrote, but her wedding was exclusive and epic.
It was epic. Kid had 78 bruises. Among the more than 300 convicted violent felons whose right to carry guns has been restored over the past 6 years by the state of Georgia. With 32 who had killed another person and 44 who were sex offenders. According to an August report in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. As pointed out by ThinkProgress.com, among those once again that can carry is Dennis Krause, a former Glynn County police officer convicted of raping a woman after a traffic stop. According to the 2003 Georgia Court of Appeals decision affirming his conviction, Officer Krause had drawn his service weapon and said he only wanted to anally penetrate the woman with it.
What? My goodness.
However, he was convicted only for his extortionate demand for sex.
Talk about a poop shoot.
You said extortion? Did you say extortion?
Yes.
Should have been intortion.
Contortion. Here we go.
Should have just been ouch.
First world dilemmas. Plastic surgeons, first in University of Missouri research in 2000, and recently in a study of Singapore doctors in the Journal of the American Society for Aesthetic Plastic Surgery, have postulated that the ideal navel is basically vertically shaped with slight pudding and, of course, an innie. The earlier study analyzed photos of 147 females aged 18 to 62, while the Singapore surgeons gazed at shots of 37 Playboy playmates and used a computerized tool to measure vertical ratio, midline horizontal position, length from the xiphoid process to the lower limit of the vulvar cleft, and how nearly oval-shaped the belly buttons were.
How special.
Can I get that job? I'll analyze other things, but not the navel.
You know, we live in an aristocratic society.
Yes.
Here's the first one.
God almighty.
Inmate Corey McQuarrie, 33, passed away in Jessamine County, Kentucky, lockup in August of a methadone overdose. According to state police, another inmate had soaked a pair of underwear in methadone when he was out on release, then brought the item to jail for McQuarrie, who tore off piece after piece and swallowed them. I'll give you another one. Number 2, 10 years ago, New York City skyscraper heir Robert Durst beat a murder rap, claiming self-defense, and now he lives more quietly in Houston. However, police in that city accused Durst in July of, without provocation, urinating on a cash register in a CVS store, drenching a candy rack.
Now that's a pisser.
Good.
See, that's where I want the sound effects.
Least competent criminals is the last one for me. Unclear of the concept category, a 20-year-old woman was arrested in Seattle in August after calling police to complain that she was being harassed by a man who was following her. Police arrived to find that the stalker was simply trying to get his phone back after the woman stole it from him while he was napping on a bus. Unfortunately, that does it, Mr. Cash.
I'm glad I don't have to read this.
That's our 2-minute warning.
Thank goodness.
What a show. 2 hours in the books flies by when you're having fun, huh?
Some good stuff in the first hour.
And boy, did we lose it in the second. Well, no, we didn't lose it all in the second hour. We had Doing It with Styles in the second hour.
That was about the best part of this.
We want to thank Karen Griffin and Artie White talking about the margin tax and what it means to Nevada business. We want to thank Coach Dion Lee for coming on from the Las Vegas Showgirls.
Even though he didn't bring in the girls.
No, we'll get him to do that next time.
Yeah.
Hope so. We want to thank JPEG for Doing It with Styles. We want to thank you, the listener, and hopefully everybody out there who's going to join the fan club so we can donate to the community. And, of course, Mr. Bobcat always making us sound good, Mr. Cash.
Yes, he does.
Well, I think that next week, I know we have one guest, Katie Kelly, our favorite, one of the first pageant gals. She started a new business called the Queen's Vault, where she's actually getting into consulting for pageant queens.
We're always happy to have
We love Katie Kelly. Be a while since we've seen her, and I think we're going to try to reschedule Rodney Anderson. He was supposed to be with us tonight, but he's still ill.
Under the weather.
Yes. Home for Vets Now is his organization. Hopefully we'll have him on next week. So enjoy football. Enjoy the weekend.
Coming up right after us?
Yes, coming up right after us, BCN Talk, the show where businesses go to thrive and listen to thrive with Robert and Gil. You're not going to want to miss it. As always, Mr. Cash, a great show. JPEG, thank you. Bobcat, thank you. As always, the listeners, thank you in supporting what we do. Mr. Cash, be kind to each other, sir. And why is that?
We are all we have.
Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you in the fall next week on Vegas Unwrapped.